Hey, greetings everyone, it's GleeCon, and I'm back again with another episode of Lore of Warcraft. On the last episode, we did a little art foray again, so check out that one if you enjoy the cinematic art of Wrath of the Lich King, or just the art review books in general. They're hard to find, so it's kind of neat for that niche reason, but in the actual classic walkthrough where we do every single quest in the game, or at least cover it all, on the last episode, we finished off discussing all of the level 20 class quests, and we kind of just started doing the Call of Water as a shaman, so stay wide and listen as we finish that. All we did was the first step where we picked it up in Orgrimmar, then the second step sends you from the person that you're sent to, in which is Island, out there in kind of near Ratchet. And then she sends you up to a mountain near Camp Tarajo, where you then fill up a pool, like a satchel of water there. And after that, she wants you to fill up another satchel of water. She's really trying to help you understand the importance of water before she allows you to make this water Sapta. And this next one is in Hillsbrad. This is the most annoying part of the chain. Honestly, this is not a hard chain. It's just the fact that it also serves to, I guess, maybe be some kind of a breadcrumb. Here's the Zeppelin. We also got Ghost Wolf form and got our level 20 powers. Here's the Zeppelin coming up to Orgrimmar. So I think since it's just pulling in, we should get good luck on that. The reason why we hearthed to Orgrimmar was so that our hearth would be ready again. So once we finish Hillsbrad, we can hearth right back to Orgrimmar once we're ready for that. We know we do have the Silver Pine flight path open, but nothing past that. So we're going to have to walk from Silver Pine into Hillsbrad, but at least, again, we have Ghost Wolf form, which is nice. Okay. I am going to have to mess around. Once we get these water totems, this is going to go away. We need more bars. That's just a problem with shamans in general. They have so many. So 2, we already have maximum bar 2. Bar 1 and 3 are your 2 combat bars. I don't like to have my totems on there, personally, myself. Bar 4, let's see, what is bar 4 if we enable it? That is a vertical bar that appears right here, but you can kind of change that look by making the buttons per row be 6 instead. And then I think you can kind of change the you can put it down. I don't know, I'm going to disable that one. I think there's a better one we can start with. Bar 5 opens up one right here, and if you change it to be 6 per row, then you're again, we'd need to unanchor that some. Basically what we need is a second, well, actually, you know what, we could go to bar 6, so 7, 8, 10, 13. Dang it, is it bar 2? Yeah, if we change bar 2 to be 6 per row, then the downside of that is now it's blocking our XP bar down there on the bottom. Can I move the XP bar around? Or I could anchor these in different spots. Because I like that bar. If I could have another one like above it right here, I need to be able to, I think there's a way to overall change the anchoring of everything. I know there is in the new UI interface. So there's gotta be, like, there's a way to go into like an edit mode. We need to get on the flight path anyway. Because I'm gonna need more bars, basically. I'm gonna need a second row. I know I can get another bunch over here if I really want, which will at least it'll give me a temporary reprieve because it'll allow me to kick off all these consumables and put them over there. But I would like to have 2 bars for my totems, if at all possible. I like that. because this will eventually get kitted out a little bit more. Okay, so now we're going to go down to Undercity and fly to the Sepulchre, even though it's barely faster than walking. I want to see, let's see, there's got to be an anchor way. Blizzard UI improvements. Unlock various, there we go. Okay. That's your pet bar, that's bar 6, and I could activate some of these other bars. I don't really need a stance bar. So for instance, I could take bar 5 and anchor it right there. Okay. Then I could go into bar 5 and right for now change it to the 12 buttons per row. What is this bar down there? Bar 2? Yeah, that's bar 2. So my button spacing is 1, my button size is 38. So that's all. We just want to have a match on that so that there's some symmetry. So that gives me a second bar. Love it. Right above. That's really what I wanted, because that will allow me, even if I do eventually kick these over, which I probably will, maybe now I can have offensive and positive one-shots to one side. This allows me to open up, once at the end of this chain, I can get my water going. So then I can have set up similarly here. I could have like whatever. I have offense versus heals, so I could do the same thing. And then I could have like buffs on one side or something. Work it out a little bit. I kind of like that idea of having that symmetry. Oops. Not what I wanted. Best Zulgrub boost around. If I die, free run. Experienced runner with 700 plus hardcore Defius pillage runs. Lightning fast service. Trusted and #1 in efficiency. Thanks. Too bad you're a booster. And I just can't with boosters. I'm trying to, you know, make it. I'm trying to respect everyone's approach to the game. And just be, you know, say, okay, well, you know what? I'm just going to ignore you because that's what they all say. Just ignore. So the problem is that it's constant. And the need to shuffle who you're ignoring requires a mod. And now now it's really stretching my, I have to get a mod to the game to filter it out. It's like when you used to pay for spam blockers or whatever. Alright, so how do I want this? Because I consider these like my buff. I don't really use them. So if I had these as my action, then if I had my main buffs over here, actually I would consider these like passive buffs. Maybe I want to add this set over here. I do like adding, I don't remember where it is. There's a bar I like that's, no, there's a bar I really like over to the side. There it is, this one, 13. Okay, so then I like to make that one be, oh, not 13, dang it. Because that's a little too high. Should I unlock it and make it lower? Or is there... Same dang thing. Yeah, there's a way. Okay, so if I take 13, and now we go into movers, and I move 13 here. The problem with that is this quest log will get over it a little bit. So maybe if I also move... You can't move the quest log. Okay, it's fine. Because now I kind of want... to start moving my buffs over. Start moving these bad boys over. They're just... It's what's going to happen is Questy will get in the way, so... Luckily, it usually closes in combat. Because what I want to do is move these bad boys over here. Okay. To start... Oh, you know what? While we're here? No, I'm not even going to turn him in. Because then that's going to start getting me thinking about the non-Call of Water quests. We'll turn him in when we get back. Even though it would free up some inventory, we're not doing it. We're going to focus, laser focus on Call of Water. Which means we're going there. And it is what it is. It'll also be awesome once we get the... Shamans have a move called Astral Recall, which basically lets them use their hearth like 3 times as frequently. And I love me some Hearthstone usage, I tell you that. Especially as a mage, oh my gosh, I love bouncing around. It's a huge benefit to be able to set your Hearthstone where you actually play, and then travel to the... because you know you can always port to any of the capitals. Druids, to a lesser extent, can do that because they can always port to Moonglade, and at least from Moonglade, you know you can learn your talents, and you have a quick shop, and then there is a free ride from Moonglade to Thunderbluff or Darnassus, respectively. So it's kind of like a boost or whatever. I mean, it's like a very weak teleport. So you could play it that way if you want. Now in retail, it's all just so much more convenient. First of all, if you have a guild, you can set your Hearthstone. I think it lasts. I think it's like 12 minutes or something like that with all the maximum perks that you can have. I've decided I think that I'm not going to run a guild on this character, and we'll just kind of use that as a dichotomy between the two. But I think when we run retail, when we start doing Burning Crusade and beyond, I think I will, because there are these guild achievements, and I think it might be neat to... And I'll also be growing a whole team, because we'll have all these mobs. I mean, we'll have every character for every expansion. So we basically need 2 for every expansion. So if we kind of think about that, some Burning Crusade, there are no new... we'll need a Draenei and a Paladin. And I like the idea of doing a Draenei Shaman, even though we have a Shaman here. It'll be so different in retail, it won't matter, and I love Shaman. And then running a... and then running a Blood Elf Paladin, just so that we kind of switch that. Even though that's literally the combo we're running right now, it'll be nice to start there as a foundation and have some, just see some differences. It's so freaking different now anyway. And then, plus canonically, I feel like it makes sense. And then we'll run 2 Death Knights in Wrath of the Lich King, in addition to continuing to do quests as needed, if we need to, with our Paladin and whatnot. But the reason why we're doing these is because we need to have really one of each class in the faction. And I think I think there's 12 classes now. Let's try to count that out as we run. There's Death Knights, Paladins, and Warriors are the heavies. Shaman and Hunters are the only two males. Then that brings us to 5. Then there's Druid, Rogue, Monk is a new leather. Feel like I'm forgetting a leather. Demon Hunter. That's a leather. So there's 4 just straight leather only wearers. I don't remember what Drakthir are, if they are male or leather, so I'll just throw them in there because I only have ever made one Drakthir. And I did max them out at level or whatever, but I don't remember what their armor type is. Maybe male. So we'll throw them in there. That gets us to 10. And then Clothies, there's priests, warlocks, and mages. What am I forgetting? And that puts us at 13. And I think that's all of them. I think there are 13. So that means we're going to need 26 total characters. How many total expansions do we have? Well, we've got... I mean, we're going to have to do a lot. I have boosts. I have a ton of boosts coins saved up, so we can use those as needed. I think I have like 6 or something. I never use them whenever I pre-order or anything, a new expansion. Never use a boost coin ever. So I have a ton. And I'm about to get more. Crud. What is the... Yeah. So I think if we think of any more, so anyway, how many expansions are there? Well, there's Burning Crusade. There is Wrath of the Lich King. There is Cataclysm, but we need to run the original content of Cataclysm. Oops, I went the wrong way. I mean, Cataclysm, we'll just call it one thing for now. But you could... I'll tell you what, we'll split Cataclysm into... Man, we really could do a lot with Cataclysm. We'll call Cataclysm 1, but we'll put a footnote next to that, because that one has room for development. Then there's Mists of Pandaria, Warlords of Draenor, Legion... Whoa, oh, it's because we're so low level. Legion, BFA, Shadowlands, Dragonflight. And by the time we get there, also this new War Within. So there's 10 total. That gives us 20. We need 26. So we need to flesh out 3 more on each side. Well, here's how we do that. We get most of that out of Cataclysm. I'll tell you that right now. He doesn't. Engineering. He's Goblin Jumper Cables. That's cool. Should I buy that for 20 silver? Earthen leather shoulders. I'm gonna buy it, even though it requires level 22. And what was the 135 leather working? Just take another bag space up. Alright, but we got this Call of Water. Love that. I'm not doing Journey to Hillsbrad either. Not doing it. So, how do we get the other 3? Well, if we split Classic into the Eastern and Western... to the Eastern Kingdoms and the Western, that adds up another 1. Then if you call the expansion things... There you go, we have the flight path. So that brings us 2. And now we only have to somehow get 1 more. Where's the stinking well? Oh, I forgot. It's not on my questing map. It's right here. We just have to use the sack at it. Alright, so now we have the filled water skin. Are we supposed to go back to the Barrens? Yes. So we're now going to Hearth. Where can we get our one extra? What else is ripe for splitting itself into 2 different parts? Burning Crusade, no. I'm gonna go with a no on that one. Because LBY is constantly out of date. I literally wait until it gives me the warning that says you are 5 things out of date, and that's usually still only like a month, maybe. Because they got rid of the. There used to be a client that would just kind of like CurseForge, where you could just update it and it would fix it, do it all for you, and they got rid of that. I don't know why. The Tookwe client, they got rid of that. Don't know why they got rid of it.
You haven't lived until you've looked down on the world from the back of a
But they did. All right, so so yeah, 15. Yeah, I'm trying to think about where we could get that extra one at. Not that it's coming up anytime soon, but Burning Crusade, I feel like no, that's not the biggest. Wrath of the Lich King, no, not at all, because especially when we start with the Death Knights, we're already going to be high. Oh, no, we won't. I forgot they start them at level 1 in retail. No. Cataclysm, we're already getting an extra couple, because we could split the world in half to gain 1. And then we could do the like end game stuff, like the Twilight Highlands and Najatar and stuff like that. So that could be another one. Miss Pandaria. I don't really see it. Even though it's a pretty good sized expansion. Warlords of Draenor are gross. I do not want to spend extra time in there, so no. It's my least favorite expansion. Not even close. There's parts of it. Now, don't get me wrong. That being said, it's still my favorite game of all time. And there are parts that I enjoy. I just, overall, I do not like the experience. I do not like the base building. I don't like the little chests everywhere on the map. That's not a fun start for me. I just don't enjoy it. Now, there's a lot of seeds for good ideas that happen in Warlords of Draenor. Legion is a maybe. Legion's a solid maybe. Well, you know what? It all needs to be done by Legion anyway. So... okay, scrap it. And what if I just... because what I'm thinking about here is when you do the class hall quests, are they different if you're Alliance or Horde? Well, they are. So we really need to have one of every class. But, oh, I forgot about the Evokers. No, I didn't. I counted those in there. So let's just see, are there Evoker class hall quests? Legion class quest. Did they ever add one for Evoker? Okay, so there is no class hall campaign. Gotcha. Okay, so that does take out... there you go. That's our extra piece, because we don't need to do Evoker. There are no class hall quests for Evoker. Unless I'm forgetting a class, because I felt like there was 13 before Evoker. Who am I forgetting? Let's count. Let's just have a list of the playable classes in Warcraft. So I counted Warrior, Paladin, Hunter, Rogue, Priest, Shaman, Mage, Warlock, Druid, Monk, Demon Hunter, Death Knight, and now Evoker. So no, that's it. There's just 12. 12 that we have to worry about that for. So that's good. So that means we need 24 total classes ready to go by Legion. So we have 2 for Burning Crusade, 4 for Wrath of the Lich King. We're up to 10 when we do Cataclysm. We are um, 12 we do Miss of Pandaria, 14 Warlords of Draenor. Then that's only 16. So we're still 8 short by the time we do Legion. Right? Because I was getting 2 from BFA. And I was getting 2 from Shadowlands. 4 more. And 2 from Dragonflight. That's 6 more. And I was actually counting myself as 2 from the new expansion, because War Within will be out by then. I mean, who the frick knows whatever changes they'll make. So, the reason why I'm calculating all this is because when we get to Legion, I want us to on camera do every Class Hall campaign quest. So, it is what it is. What we'll do is we'll make these spreadsheets. I'll start messing around with it on my own. I'll do a trial run, and then that will give me a way of looking at how long it actually takes, because the questing is the XP is so explosive. Like, we could probably run multiple characters through expansions and it won't matter, and you can go from zone to zone. Again, it doesn't matter. The problem is if we're also working on, say, like a lore master, and there's also no reason why we can't just run the Class Hall campaigns, just starting characters organically. Here we go, we're at Call of Water.
What do you need?
The well remaining pure within the town reminds me of stories told to me when I was younger, bleak and soul. Even in times of great pain and sorrow, one can find a sliver of hope, a small symbol to rally around. The orc people see Thrall this way. He survived against great odds and rose up to lead our people through his strength and example. I'm not sure any orc has suffered as much as he has, but at the same time, I'm not sure any orc is as strong as he is.
This is good, adventurer. You're dedicated to the task at hand and have the ability to seek out that which is needed. One more sample is all I need to create the reagent needed for your Sapta. Islin will be pleased as well. Take this water skin and head deep into the lush forest the Night Elves call Ashenvale. It is to the far north of the Barrens. Once you've entered the forest, travel west, along the mountains that separate Stone Talon and Ashenvale. And beyond Lake Mistral, you will find a holy place, the ruins of Stardust. At the center of the lake, you will find a small fountain. Bring me a sample of the fountain's water. It will be the final component you'll need before I send you back to Iceland.
I prefer... I think here's an example of the computer just not knowing... Oh, it's way over there. Dang it. Just not knowing how to pronounce stuff. Because we can use context. A little magical thing called context to help us understand and decode words. So, it's obviously Stone Talon. But if you're a computer and you're just trying to guess where to emphasize syllables, you might go more formulaically if you have no frame of reference. And the computer is not... It can't parse those words and think, Talon makes sense here. It must be referencing the word Talon. Oh my gosh, we should look and see if the Harvester's here while we're here, even though I don't even know if we could kill it. It looks kind of like that, but it's like darker. The Harvester is so hard to find that if you can ever... Actually, no, it doesn't. It looks fat, like a... I don't know that we'd actually be able to kill it if we found it, but it's worth looking at because it's so hard to find. And if we could get it, it would be worth any struggles. We could lay our eyes on it, but I don't see it. But it's legit, the hardest part of the Barrens. It might be the hardest in terms of like tedious camping and grinding that we will have had to do. I'm kind of crazy for coming in here at level 20. I don't know that we'd be able to beat the Harvester at level 20. I mean, these mobs are around level 20, so if it's right around that level. We're also just not really equipped very well for it. The Harvester is... The best way to beat the Harvester is to have some sort of thorn capability. It can spawn on this side of the road too. Much more rare, but it can happen. I've camped this thing so many times. I know all the camp spots. I'm not going to go that deep in there. Normally you can kind of see it from the road if you... And I don't see it, so... And I'm a little bit too low level to make the hunt easy, but we kind of went around. Usually you can find it. It stands out. It's not like a sneaky thing. There's also those people we're going to have to kill, but... Oh, there she is. We are not close enough to being high enough level to fight her. Stay out of their path. Normally, you've got to get a team to get her down. But that's okay too. Really, she's almost kind of like a Stone Talon quest. So we've completed 4 steps of the 9-10 step process. It's 9 quests plus a Sapta repeatable. So this one is just go... This is the last one, I think that's... I mean, this is level 23. They really want to make us work for this water in terms of running around the world. Now, we can at least fly up to the crossroads and then walk the rest of the way, and when we get there, we'll at least... So we're being forced to connect a lot of our zones right now. It's not the end of the world, it's just, it's what makes this questline so time-consuming. But the ability to have your water totem and add that to our healing kit as a resto shaman is so important. And then conversely, the best totem, because of the Wind Fury aspect, is air.
Treat the Wind Rider well as it takes you to your destination.
That one
May
requires
your
like nothing at all.
watch over you, adventurer.
Earth is the first one, and it's essential between the different totems that we have. They are... It's essential. Fire helps with your DPS. It's very useful. Water is essential for the healing. The wind really makes it. So, anyway, so we'll continue working on this show for a while. I mean, for indefinitely ad infinitum. But I've been trying to step up my time on Breath of the Wild a little bit so I can eventually get through that game. I'm making more progress than I have been. Like I said before, I also started the Baldur's Gate. I'm playing the original not the enhanced edition right now, the OG first one, and it's bringing back a lot of nostalgia for me. And I'll work through that. But yeah, there's all kinds of great series out there, and I'm guessing the hunger isn't really there to see me do other things that aren't World of Warcraft. There's no crossover. No strong thirst for that, so I'll just keep plugging away on this, but that offer's out there, and if I do get any interest in having just a small, like kind of like I'm doing with the art books right now, just a weekly, once a week visit into a different series, I would do that. It could be in the Blizzard universe. I mean, it could be Lost Vikings or whatever. It could be, although the RTS ones aren't as good on the lore, so it would be nice if we found one that was pretty lore heavy. Baldur's Gate has a ton of reading. Actually, as I play it, like I'm kind of just skimming, but when I get to the enhanced edition, I really do want to play and take my time and engage with the material a lot more. That is a pig. I can't skin it. But I'm also really looking forward to all these different things. The class quests that exist here in Classic, it's just the payoff is too time consuming, but you can so easily level alts in retail that, and we can organically do it as we play through all of the different expansions. So we can tag and hit every class, every quest available. Like I was saying, I'll go through and eventually, you know, I'm a little bit ahead. Obviously, in my trailblazing ones, I just finished Stockades yesterday and all those stocks quests. Slave Ginger. Okay. And probably about to start Hillsbrad Foothills, I think, on that. So I'll start that today. And which puts me... I'm getting close on there to catching up, because right around that I'll do Nomergon, which that's where we left off. Right around that area. I had done Hillsbrad already, so some of the zones I'm not quite caught up, but dungeon-wise, I'll do Hillsbrad. I'll do Arathi. That we hadn't done. So that's starting to get... But we did do Thousand Needles. I pushed through a lot of that. So I'm changing the order a little bit because of those end quests for Thousand Needles. Same thing with like Stranglethorn and stuff like that. Some of these things I'm just changing the order. Desolus will, for instance, come before Thousand Needles, and so will Arathi, and so will the Alterac Highlands. So those 3 are coming up after Hillsbrad for me, and then I'll shoehorn in. But in that process, I'll also be doing all of the Scarlet Monastery quests, the Razorfen Crawl will get worked in there, Nomergon. So over the next couple weeks, I'll be caught up and in some ways pushing past where we were originally on this show. On this show, it's slower. The time constraint of an hour a day slows us down. We just need more Sean Rampart. So I'm going to get the flight path first, then I'll walk over there. This Call of Water quest, I hope that we're going to finish this chain today and we'll be able to get back into Silver Pine. Once we get back into Silver Pine, it'll be a little easier. Barrens will take us a little while. Like I said, we'll do Wailing Caverns. We'll do Shadowfang Keep in there as well. Turn in those quests. I think that whole process will take us even from this point. Probably to maybe in the 20th, somewhere around there. Maybe a couple days past that. Yeah, see, that's level 27, so we're starting... This is a 23 quest, but we're going to have to be careful, as the mobs in Ashenvale are a little bit high. As we know, because we've ran through this with our Dadgar character. Or not Dadgar, our paladin, Glee Contessa. We know it's a little bit tough. But if we stick to the road as long as possible, we should be able to get there. We just need to fill the water skin. We don't need to do anything crazy. We just have to get to the source of water. So even if we die and we have to corpse hop a little bit, which I hope not to do because of time, but it'll be okay. But yeah, so then that'll finish tier 2. We should finish tier 2 by then. Yeah, like I said, this, Barrens, Wailing Caverns, and we'll be able to start tier 3, which is Stone Talon. Get some Red Ridge in there. Then really what will happen is Alliance will catch back up, because Alliance will have it just has red, for instance, Red Ridge is Alliance only. Duskwood is Alliance only. We'll squeeze Ashenvale and Blackfathom Deeps in there, and then Wetlands is Alliance only. So in the middle of Ashenvale and Blackfathom Deeps, that's the only real Horde love we're going to get. And now the Horde does get to spend all this time in Barrens, so hopefully the Horde is going to be higher level.
Where would you like to fly to?
Okay, we've connected that now. Hopefully the Horde character should be higher, closer to level 30. When we finish the Barrens and Stone Talon. Because after that it's going to dry up for a while. until Ashenvale, where Alliance gets just as much Ashenvale work as the Horde does. But it gets 3 other zones, Red Ridge, Wetlands, and Duskwood, all nestled in there, which just don't have Horde quests. There's Sharp Talon, we do have to kill that eventually, but not now. That's the hardest of the named mobs to kill on the Ashenvale Hunt questline. Now, of course, we do get Silver Pine to catch old Glee Contessa up, but we don't even get the benefit of the dungeon giving us extra XP because we can run Shadowfang Keep as an alliance. And it's not crazy to get a group for that because the loot is pretty solid at Shadowfang Keep, and there are some class quests that send you there as alliance. Wailing Caverns is just easy to get to. Pain with Wailing Caverns is it's a decently long dungeon. I don't know why it feels so long, but it's pretty solid length. And then after that, we'll basically be caught up where we're at. After Wetlands, we'll run Stockades, and then we'll be where I'm at. Where Hills, from that point forward, I think it kind of gets together. Oh, I'm tempted about whether I want to go off, but I feel like we're just a little too far for me to brave the paths when I'm so low level. I'd rather stay on the road for a little while. Because it is in that lake, and I think we can kind of go down. We definitely don't want to get anywhere close to Astronar. We really don't want to be up here at the Rainwood Retreat. That's a little too... This is an example of a zone in Ashenvale that's friendly to the Alliance. That is Nightmare for the Horde. Well, maybe Nightmare is strong, but... Okay, so that does give us more map. It's good. And more XP. Yeah, and so I'll be able to kind of speak to that more as I work through it more myself with some of these other dungeons. And really, that what as I look through my lists, by getting that far down, like we were basically halfway through the game with our other characters. So I do feel a little bad that we made it like halfway through Classic and then we quit. But the end game has got so many big pieces to it that it's going to be tricky to. I'd be lying if I said I'm not concerned somewhat. Because of the quests, because of the groups needed for so many of the quests, because of the length of the endgame dungeons, the Blackrock Spires, the Lower Blackrock, Upper Blackrock, the raids that you need to get part of. So what I need to do is I'm going to need to get up with a friendly guild, get on Discord, and I just need to run each of those things one time for the lore purposes. But what I need to do is kind of get with a guild that can be up front and almost carry this show through that. So hopefully, by the time we get there, all things considered, just Classic is so slow compared to the other expansions. The other thing is when we get into, I think it's, no, not quite. We get into these retail, things are going to speed up. One, the leveling is faster. Two, you get everything faster in terms of just money. You can get heirlooms, mounts. Three, the biggest thing of all, you get flying mounts. Flying mounts just change the face of the game. Alright, so we don't want to go to Astronar. That really is a death zone, a nightmare. I think we want to go on this path. Go to this blue water skin. We filled I don't remember what the color the first one was. Red was the one in Hillsbrad. Maybe it was green was the first one. Okay, here's the Ruins of Stardust. This is the one we need. And we have to just... is there a well in the middle we need to get to? Maybe. Or do we just need this actual water? Be careful again. Fires a fountain in the Ruins of Stardust. Oh man. guy is casting on me. I want to get him out of the water at least. Okay. I can go ahead and do that. I'm going to drop my totems here. And then we'll just see where we go. With my totems, I think, though. Okay, so at least we can fight our way through here. There's a freaking fountain in the middle. I'm just using so much of my mana to get there. So I'm gonna have to fight my way to a fountain. Do I have water to drink? I've got milk. Got milk? Yes. Okay, that guy's 24, 22. I would like to get as near a straight line as possible. So we'll just, maybe I can fight him without all of those things if I just kind of stay focused. That looks to be the fountain right there. He pulled it off. That was a little too slow. Okay. Be careful. At the fountain. Alright, fantastic. So now we need to... I can be a wolf swimmer. Alright, so we need to get to... back to that lady. I think our Hearthstone is close to being on. So now we gotta walk back. At least we can walk to Splinter Tree and fly back to Tarajo. That will help us save some time. She should hopefully be able to build the Sapta for us. We had finished 3, because what was it? Step 1 was to go meet Island. Step 2 was to go meet the lady at the, whatever her name was, Brian. Step 3 was to just get the stuff from her pond right off the bat. Step 4 was to get the water from Hillspread. Now this is step 5 of a 9-step quest journey, and step 5 here was get the water from Ashenvale. So we had 4 steps in the process, plus getting the actual Sapta. We have about 10-15 minutes left. It depends how quick those 4 steps go. Like I said, I'd like to finish so that we can just take our behinds right back to the Sepulchre and then work on turning in these quests. We actually have to go to the Undercity before we do anything else. At least we're a little bit faster with this now. But yeah, so things will be just so much faster. I really do think we'll blow through a lot of the other content. I mean, plus we're looking at zone after zone after zone, whereas when you get into an expansion, you've got 7 zones, give or take, in each expansion, little maps. So there's just a lot less, except for when we do Cataclysm, that'll slow us down, but really just the user interface, the mount availability. The mount availability is huge. It can't be understated. Think how much time we spend. I mean, it's no joke that we often, in walking from one spot to another in a quest, will spend 5 to 10 minutes. And sometimes longer we do that. So think about how much of our show we spend. Now again, it's all about the journey. I get that, and I like playing classic, but as far as packed content into the minutes of the show, that's a pain. I think when we get to that part, I'll also dedicate some time to doing achievements, and maybe we'll try and tag those different achievements as we go in the comments, and then we could even eventually do guild achievements, because there are some fun ones like doing certain runs with a party of all of one race. So we should accumulate a lot of stuff like that. I might end up having to dump a lot of my old characters, which is okay. I can live with that. A lot of my alts, it's not the end of the world. Except for my main, I could live with losing them all. Although I would like to keep my main horde too, if I can. There's just so much stuff that you also accumulate. Like, I have so much bag space, bank, everything, every slot filled with things that are quote unquote essential. And part of it's also that I'm just like, I would do my achievements differently. Going through this time, what I did was I was like, okay, I want to do every quest achievement in the game, then I want to do every exploration achievement in the game, then I want to do every dungeon achievement. So I worked on getting all my stuff that way, but it's making me hold on to so many things. What I would maybe do in retrospect is I would just do, I'm going to do every classic achievement. I'm going to do every whatever, you know? So that's also something we're going to have to consider when we do our jobs in Burning Crusade and Wrath of the Lich King. If you pick something like engineering, it's going to be built on the supposition that you've gone through the classic engineering, and we won't be able to do that in the same way. Because we'll be saving that for our Cataclysm coverage.
Farewell.
So that's something to think about. I probably won't run us through... I don't know what we're going to do in terms of professions when it comes to that, because it's also nice to take a single character through and do all the professions, but we might... Yeah, this is just all things I'll have to consider separately. Because what I don't want to do is just take one character through. I would like to, at least organically as much as possible, show the leveling process through each of these zones. It's going to become impossible at some point, because like I said, you do 2 to 3 zones in retail now, and you're max level, or you've hit the cap for that expansion where they force you to leave Chromie time, and they drop the mobs, and so you'll one-shot everything, which actually makes certain things hard, and it makes you have to have certain toys, like the foam sword, which reduces something down to 1 hit point. It won't. Instead of killing them outright, because you'll basically one-shot everything with even your weakest move, like a kick, like a rogue's kick. You'll one-shot a boss. I know, because I've experienced having to do that on my achievement hunting main, and sometimes you need, for whatever reason, you need to not kill. On some quests, you need to weaken, not kill. So, anyone near Booty Bay that can let in with charts and orders in Swashbuckler area? Guessing that's a quest for later. Alright, so really this one wasn't too bad. It just had us running around. So now most of the time I'd say, oh, let's just organically do those quests when we're in the area. But what'll happen if you do that with class quests? They are greatly different. The skills and items you get are so important to your character that you will cripple yourself. And it's just not worth it to save the little bit of time that you otherwise would do. It's better to stretch, and because you'll give yourself such a nice advantage. I guess the same could be argued with dungeons, but there's a randomness element with dungeons where you might have to just repeatedly grind a dungeon, and that to me is not the same thing as something that's sort of like you're right as being part of a class. Alright, so we're almost done. I don't know that we'll finish the whole line now that this has taken us so much time. We'll get this one turned in. It just all depends. We got, like I said, 5 to 10 minutes more from where we're at. We're gonna have to still, once we land, still run down there, turn it in, and we have 4 quests in the chain to do. And I'm sure one of them is going to be go back over to Island to wrap it all up. So that's going to take 5 more of our minutes right there. So depending, and where is she going to send us to fight whatever water spirit we're going to have to fight? Is she going to send us right back to Island? Because if that's the case, okay, we're cool. I'm cool with that. This is 26 minutes, but we must have spent some time. Oh yeah, because we went and did the Zeppelin, that's why. I say that's... We took about 15 minutes before we used it. Which that's... I mean, we only took 15... 20 minutes. We took 20. The first 20 minutes of the show was just getting to Hillsbrad. And that was with good luck on the Zeppelin and all that stuff. Alright. I can't believe, like, some people have really done the math on, like, what's better, using Ghost to a form or mount. 40% increase. Based on the amount of time it takes to mount up and the amount of time it takes to cast Ghost Wolf, and, like, depending on the amount of distance that you've traveled. I mean, it's not a hard equation, but... So, I was up early this morning because I had, I went and did another job interview today, so we'll see. Another panel interview. It's one of these where it's kind of like rounds of interviews, so this was kind of round 1. So I made it again to being selected as a candidate, and I interviewed with the panel, and we'll see how it goes. I don't know. I feel like I would give myself a solid B. So it depends on, like, I feel like there's some things I wish I would have said differently, and that's typical. But I guess one of the good things is every time you go and you try and fail, I guess you just get experience. Seems cliche, but I don't know how it will all shake down, and if they see me as the best fit. Like I said, I think I mentioned that the fact that this was potentially in the works. This is the direction and position that I'm trying to go to. I would just have to move to another, like, site. My office would be at a different building, and, like, technically in my town, in my county, but it would be a further drive. It'd be about as far away as I could go and still in my same county, so it's on the clear other side of the county for me. So from a pure convenience standpoint, it'd be the least convenient place I could work. Not that that's the end of the world. Also, it's just, we'll see.
Do you have the water yet, Deacon? Squeaked one soul. Tales say the ruins were protected by large creatures of nature that do not care for visitors. But those could be myths to scare off the enemies of the Night Owls. Regardless, be careful.
Wonderful, adventurer. With all 3 samples gathered, I can create for you a vial of the purest water any living creature will find. It will be used in the next steps of your rite of passage. I am pleased to count you among our kind, adventurer. You do all adventurer proud, and I look forward to hearing about your exploits in the future.
So pure.
Islin will have one more task for you before rewarding you with your next totem. The vial of water I've given you is necessary for whatever that task is. Go now and find her. We shall meet again someday.
Alright, so step 6 of 9 is going back to Island, which is kind of what I thought might happen, because I was like, you know what, I think we'll fight the thing right in front of her. So this is actually good, because we'll go ahead and travel to her, and there's a chance that we will finish this, because it's not, once we fly to Ratchet, it's not a far walk. She's going to give us the water Sapta, and then the repeatable Sapta quest is probably just like if you screw up and lose yours. I really This field is a nightmare right here. They are stunning me, and I hate it. I died. Mother freaker. That slows us down. Dagnabbit. And I don't want to take the 10 minutes because even I don't think it's slowing us down 10 minutes worth. Like the amount of time it will take to go there and back is... Oh, gosh. I don't know why I didn't go hit the road. It was bad. Just total bad. I'm just rushing at this point. I'm looking at our time. I'm trying to get where... And it's... Whatever thing I think I'm saving, obviously... Wasn't. I should have dropped this Stoneclaw totem earlier. Or I should have, could have, would have. Yeah. I mean, yes, it's all for multiple reasons. We're kind of broke right now, so any cost for our durability is that's down. Anyway, yeah, so I don't know. I feel like, you know, they most likely will get a candidate that's above a solid B, which is how I feel. I interviewed when you do these panels, they basically like each person asks a question. The questions aren't necessarily pertaining to the department that they're over. It's like they just take turns. They write down the stuff you say, and I'm pretty sure there's like a rubric they score you on. And they literally just give you a grade, and then they submit that to the board, and then the board decides. Well, I think there's a second round, and then so you'll know if you make it even to the second round. Unfortunately, this is not like a pool because I think there's a bunch of positions, so I've got to keep on applying, keep on interviewing. Case by case for every similar spot that opens up over the next month or two, yeah, so it's just kind of a pain of a process, and it is what it is. I guess I'll kind of get desensitized. The more I do it, I will just make my way in now. And I don't know, maybe, you know, maybe it wasn't. I didn't get any particular vibes like they're usually pretty stoic. But I did not get any vibes that made me feel like, oh yes, I am a shoo-in for this one. I tried to lean into my humor a little more than I did on the last one. I tried to steer the interview myself a little bit a couple times into talking about things that would highlight my skill set instead of staying on the railroad and only specifically answering the question, because I did that before, and I don't necessarily think it did me any favors. But I do feel like overall I was probably a little bit better than I was before. I was definitely a little more comfortable, but not perfect. And I don't know. Like they asked a question, which was the very last one was, why would it be a mistake not to pick you for this job? Which I should be expecting a question like that.
Well, many are the paths of the earth.
Part and parcel.
Wherever you decide to travel,
but when it was
watch over you.
When it was phrased in that way, I was just like, why would it be a mistake not to pick me? So it's kind of backing you into having to promote yourself in a rah way, and I usually am not good with compliments, and I lean I'm not comfortable with them. I'm sort of dismissive when people try to compliment me, and I lean away from that. And when I'm joking around with my wife, I can kind of, especially with like games, if we're playing cards or whatever, sure, I can get into it a little bit there, but it's not my typical comfort zone. So I had to sort of lean into just like I'm a catch, you know. I would be a prize for the company, and here's why. So I don't know. We'll just see how it goes. I mean, they sort of know now. They sort of kind of know who I am. So even if I do have more interviews, I don't even know how that would go. I'll just keep putting my name in the hat, in the ring kind of deal. It was kind of awkward because the manager, the head person of the site that I'd be going to, is there. They're one of the people interviewing me, but then also like the head of HR for the company is there. So I'm at the end when you're asking questions, I'm like, well, you know, I kind of wanted to know about like the pool process. Like, if I don't get this particular role, am I in a pool of candidates for similar roles that open up? So it's like, how do I tactfully ask that question in front of the person who I'm trying to sell? Like, I'm only interested in this. I guess the good thing is if that was something that put a nail in my coffin and I don't get it, then maybe I don't have to ask that question in the future. So I don't know, we'll see. All right, so we are over by 5, but I want to see how far we can get. I really feel like these last few quests are so short. I really think if we don't have to go anywhere, if we can just stay right by her for the final 3 quests, then it's worth it. Now, if she says, okay, now I need you to go travel to this other ocean or these other mountains, then screw it. We'll finish it on the next episode, but we can really, if I can bust this out quickly, I'm all for it. Notice it is a level 23 quest. It's available at 20, but they're basically saying if you decide you need to wait to 23 to do this, no judgment. These little brigands are already super easy for us, so that makes me feel good about the barons. But man, it would be very nice to have the water totems this early. Alright, so the 6th one is done. We're back to island.
The winds guide you.
Hello again, Glee Consort. You're looking well. What brings you back to me so soon?
A vial of water created and blessed by Brine, and gathered by you, no less. The liquid in this vial will be key in creating a Sapta for you, but also used in one other task. The Sapta I create for you should be used to see the water spirits at the shrine in Silverpine Forest, south of the Undercity. The remaining drops, well, the remaining drops I will tell you about if you feel you are ready. Are you prepared for one more journey, adventurer?
Sure. So that's 6 done. The water
Take the
Sapta
water
we can get
Sapta
over and
find
over
the
again.
corrupted pool of water in Silverpine, adventurer. I have great faith in your abilities.
So we'll call that 7. So we have 3 to go. Here's
Brings you here?
number the 7th quest, the 8th, whatever you want to call it.
Along the coast of Silverpine, west of the Sepulchre, you will find a shrine that has become tainted by the plague. The spirits there no longer speak to our people, and it will be up to you to defeat the manifestation and cleanse the pool. Take the elemental's bracers, along with the remaining drops of Brine's potion, and place them on the brazier. The ritual should be enough to summon a pure spirit for you to communicate with. Bring me proof the task is done, and I will reward you with your totem.
Okay, so we're clearly not done. She is sending us someplace far away. Unfortunately for us, it's the exact same place we're going to need to go to as soon as we're done, so that is a big fat pain in the butt. So what I'm going to do is take us back to Ratchet, and then I will get on the flight to Orgrimmar, because I don't want to waste my Hearthstone, because... Actually, no, because it's not available for 11 more minutes. And I don't want to use it right when we start the next episode, because I want us to be able to hearth back over to Silverpine. So we have still some running around to do to wrap up the last 3 steps, which is a pain. This quest is... This is the kind of thing that is... It's... Sometimes... It just... I don't know.
from a lore perspective, if this was a real journey doing all of these things, and also it's forcing you, if you weren't crazy like us, it's sending you to all these parts of the world, that is cool and I like it. But when you're actually doing it head on like we're doing, it just feels sometimes like traveling for the sake of traveling, and that can be a little bit tough, a little bit. It's definitely time consuming. Alright, so this is where we're going to stop. We'll wrap this questline up and resume Silverpine next time. But we have another episode in the pipe, 5x5. I thank you everybody so much for watching and for listening, and I'll see you next time on Lore of Warcraft.